Hey guys, it's Mark the Landlocked Surfer here, and I am back at what was voted the best surf skate spot in the world in 2021. I'm here to try and win another contest and try to survive while trying, because this spot is painful if you get it wrong. This natural rock quarter pipe is challenging to ride, to say the least, and you also could lose your board if you're not careful, but the payoff is the incredible scenery of this beautiful natural quarter pipe out in the wild. So I thought for the Carver Surf Your Skate Days contest, to try to win that competition, I would come back here and see if I could integrate some of the tricks that I had learned over the past little while in the skate park and try and implement them on this wild natural rock landscape. So there were three particular tricks that I thought would be possible if I put my mind to it, and I thought I'd walk you through that process. Now, the first challenge we encountered with trying to achieve this mission is these insane gale force winds that were blowing today. So it ended up working out okay. It calmed down a little bit later, but that definitely added to the difficulty level. This, I'm going to show you first off, is kind of the best line that I got filmed for the day. So I'm going to start with that and then kind of break down the three different tricks that I wanted to film individually. But this line, just everything came together with the blunt stall, the 50-50 at the beginning, and then getting some flow, managing to save things with that little slide to get back up. And like I did in the Yao Rock contest, I wanted to go right to the edge on this one just to add that little bit of extra edginess. I wasn't really in any danger, so don't worry, but it made for good filming. Now, the first trick I wanted to tackle was the backside blunt stall to 50-50. This is something that's a little bit easier than just doing a plain blunt stall, but it's going to be really challenging on a rock ledge with no coping to it. But I felt like if I really worked at it, I could make this happen. And it took a lot of tries to get my lock on right. Getting the lock was the most difficult component of getting this. I haven't shown all of the attempts here. There were a lot. But eventually it started getting a little bit closer. I started to get the lock in. It's difficult because this isn't straight. Like, the ledge there is not parallel to the ground, so you're trying to do it on a bit of an angle. After enough attempts, I started to get some that were a little bit sloppy, took a little bit long on the stall, but managed to get in, get back down, and that gave me, the motivation to keep going to try and make it happen. So I wasn't completely happy with those ones, even though they were technically lands. I wanted to get them a little cleaner, a little smoother, but it was good motivation to keep working, knowing now that it is actually something that's possible. It took a few slams when trying to get it when I found this better filming angle. This one seemed perfect and was just a little bit too far over the front trucks. And then this is the one where things finally clicked. Just managed to find the right spot. It's so essential on that spot. You kind of have like a 2-inch spot where you can get your front trucks to actually lock on when you get into that 50-50. So moving on to the next trick, this is one that actually came from the unconventional contest. Goofy Foot Greg showed me that nose pivot trick, and I was determined to learn it. Got it on this little mini ramp, and then I wanted to try it on my special little rock quarter pipe and see if I could make it happen for this contest. And for this one, it quickly became apparent that precision was crucial to getting the land. There was a very narrow spot where I had to get my front trucks so that I could actually use the ledge almost like coping. There was only one spot where I could really get that lock with the front trucks to start pivoting. And once I found that, it started getting a little bit easier. This took less tries than the blunt 50-50. Had some nice ones that had some long stalls, but committing to the final disaster and then back in was the tough part. Here's the make where everything just came together and went almost perfect. Alright, those of you who know me and follow me know that I don't do things half-assed. So why would I hike up a mountain carrying a 40-pound skate rail? It's because I had an idea that it would be fun to try and step things up a notch and do a gap board slide over this little dirt patch to start the run. So I brought the rail along this time with the idea of being able to land that just to be able to step things up a notch from what I was able to accomplish last year. You can see here I used my crooked board with the 66 trucks and shark wheels. This board also has rails attached to the bottom of the deck, so it slides a little bit better. I wanted to use this to get a feel for doing the board slide before trying to use my new Carver black tip, and it worked pretty well. The shark wheels actually held up pretty well in this kind of environment with the really difficult terrain to ride on, so the shark wheels actually do feel pretty good in this tough terrain. And the board slid really well, so I was able to get it on that. But once I had proof of concept, I wanted to go back to trying it on my Carver black tip. Part of my hesitation was that my Carver black tip was in pristine condition. I didn't even know what the prize was going to be for the Surfer Skate Days competition, so was it worth ruining my pristine condition Carver black tip, which has kind of a resin finish on the bottom, to try and do a board slide in this condition? I wasn't sure, but you know me, eventually I was like, yeah, let's just do it. So I went for it on the Carver black tip, and it took a few tries to get used to sliding without the rail, but eventually managed to get it down and created a pretty good looking clip, if I don't say so myself.
What? Kingpin hit on the zip there.
So my intro clip had one of the worst wipeouts I took of my life. Well, this was the warning I received where my kingpin clipped on this little dip spot. I didn't heed it, and stay tuned to see what happens. So I was super stoked to get the 3 tricks that I wanted to land on this session. There were a few little filler things that I wanted to get, like a nice birch slide, maybe some bonuses. So I kept filming a little bit more, and I let my guard down a little bit. You can see I took the pads off, took the gear off, and started feeling a little bit more loose here. And that is sometimes when things go wrong. Here was another warning. I just missed that huge pothole and managed to kind of just manual over it. And then this is the clip where I ended up spraining my ankle and really kind of tweaking my shoulder pretty bad. It's still hurting about 3 weeks later. And yeah, the premonition that I ignored before where I clipped my kingpin, here it came to a complete stop and just launched me. I counted it out to be about 10 feet from my board to where I made contact with the ground. That really did not feel good.
You okay?
Yeah.
I beat up my board, sprained my ankle, beat up my body. Is it all going to be worthwhile?
You alright though?
Yeah, think so.
Shock?
Shaking up.
Yeah.
Ankle.
Oh,
Weeks are a little.
Well, the good news, I'm 2 for 2, guys. I entered 2 surfskate competitions and won the both, and found myself sharing space with some of my heroes like Kai Lenny and Jamie O'Brien and Vala LaForge on Carver's page, so it was worth it in the end. I still don't have a sponsor for surf skating, and riding hard like this is tough on my board, so I'm hoping that this might help add to my resume, but if it doesn't, that's fine. Anyway, guys, that's the story of my amazing session at the best surf skate spot on the planet Earth. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share. Thanks. See you next time.